Liu Ruyan, I, Chen Fan, am not a lapdog for you to summon and dismiss at will. That's not what I meant. Then what did you mean? I was so angry my face turned red. I was about to argue with her, but unexpectedly, the phone rang at that moment. It was Chu Yu. I pushed Liu Ruyan away. As soon as the call connected, Chu Yu's hurried voice came through. Xiao Fan, something happened. Your grandpa has been taken. Bang. My mind went blank. Grandpa has been taken? What on earth happened? To be able to take someone from Chu Yu, the other party, is definitely not simple. I only realized when I got to the airport that the ambulance carrying old Master Chen had been switched midway. I was burning with anxiety. Check the surveillance cameras immediately. But before I could finish my sentence, Liu Ruyan snatched the phone from me. She spoke coldly into the phone. No need to check. The next second, she looked straight at me and said word by word, I was the one who had someone pick up old Master Chen. He's already on a plane to the capital now. I was stunned on the spot. Immediately after, a wave of anger shot straight to my head. I grabbed the cup on the table and threw it at her. Liu Ruyan, what do you want to do to my grandpa? Because the movement was too forceful, the wound on my shoulder immediately tore open, causing me to hiss in pain. Liu Ruyan easily dodged it. Seeing my pained expression, she felt a pang of heartache and wanted to help me sit down. I grabbed her by the collar and warned fiercely, Liu Ruyan, if you dare to touch a hair on my grandpa's head, I will never let you off. But she wasn't angry and even smiled. Don't worry. Your grandpa is also my grandpa. How could I harm him? I've already arranged for a top-tier medical team. When we get to the capital, he will receive the best treatment. I clenched my fists and glared at her. Liu Ruyan, what on earth do you want? The smile on her lips deepened, with a hint of wicked charm. I just said it. I don't want a divorce. I understood immediately. She had a premonition that I wouldn't come back if I left this time. So she's using Grandpa to threaten me. This damn woman. I was so angry my whole body trembled. I gritted my teeth and forced out a few words. You can't force love. She looked at me nonchalantly. Her tone allowed no room for doubt. Whether it's sweet or not, you'll only know after you've picked it and had a taste. I was rendered speechless by her. How could this woman be so shameless and unreasonable? A feeling of frustration welled up inside me. Fine, have it your way. If you don't want a divorce, then we won't. At worst, we'll just cheat on each other. Who's afraid of whom? I want to see how long this interest of yours in me can last. Since she wants to play, then I'll play with her until the end. I looked at her and stated my condition. My grandpa is chronically poisoned. You must find the best doctor to treat him. Liu Ruyan had a look of surprise. Old Master Chen is chronically poisoned? She clearly only knew that the Chen family had announced to the public that my grandpa was bedridden from a stroke. I said word by word, Liu Ruyan, listen up. If anything happens to my grandpa, you and I are finished. She immediately grabbed my hand. There was a hint of seriousness in her eyes. Don't worry, I will arrange for the best experts. Are you hungry? Want something to eat? Anything is fine, I said perfunctorily, while quickly sending my location to Chu Yu, telling her to come pick me up. Unexpectedly, Liu Ruyan herself instructed the servants to make nourishing porridge, and also made a few side dishes. During the meal, she suddenly asked a question that made my heart skip a beat. Chen Fan, 2 years ago, was your fall from the cliff related to the Chen family? My eyes immediately flickered. I only gave a vague answer. Perhaps. Liu Ruyan didn't press further, but her face was immediately covered by a cold, dark cloud. It seemed she had guessed something. After all, as soon as I died, the inheritance rights of the Chen family completely fell into the hands of Chen Renda's second branch. She was serving me food when she suddenly spoke up. You want revenge? I can help you. I immediately frowned. This small matter doesn't need to trouble you. I don't want to owe her any favors. Besides, this matter of revenge, I've never relied on others for it. She looked at me thoughtfully. Anyway, if you need anything, just tell me anytime. I replied casually, but I had other plans in mind. Chu Yu acted quickly. She arrived right after I finished eating, but Liu Ruyan gave me no chance to leave. Chen Fan, as long as there's no divorce certificate for a day, we are still a legally married couple. I sat on the bed. The corner of my mouth lifted into a wicked smile. How about we do something a legally married couple should do later? Based on past experience, the more proactive I was, the more she would hate me. Who knew she would lean down directly, trapping me between her arms? No need to wait until later. If you want to, I can satisfy you right now. I was immediately speechless. I hurriedly backed away. No, I was just kidding. This old back of mine is still sore. Liu Ruyan actually laughed. Get some good rest. I'm in the room right next to you. After saying that, she turned and left. The moment she left, I immediately jumped off the bed. Then I sent Chu Yu a message telling her to wait for me at the back door. I would never stay with this damn woman under the same roof. Just as Liu Ruyan finished her shower, a servant's panicked shout came from outside. This is bad. Miss Liu. Mr. Chen jumped out the window and ran away. The next second, my bedroom door was kicked open, but there was no one inside. I could almost imagine Liu Ruyan's furious face. Find Chen Fan for me. Let me see where you can run. On the other side, I got into Chu Yu's car and quickly fled. Half an hour later, Liu Ruyan found out my car had stopped in front of an unremarkable bar. What is Chen Fan doing here? She went inside and was shocked by the scene before her. This This bar was actually the entrance to the largest underground fighting ring in Jincheng. Liu Ruyan's gaze swept across the audience, but she didn't see me anywhere. Could she have guessed wrong? Just then, she heard a burst of laughter from the crowd. What a joke. This match is another weakling. Some weakling dares to fight against boxing king Liao? Does he have a death wish? I bet he won't last a minute. Liao can send him flying with one punch. After hearing the discussions, Liu Ruyan unconsciously looked up at the big screen, only to see two large words suddenly appear on it. Lu Bu. Liu Ruyan's pupils contracted. It was the man who had swept through the underground fighting rings in Europe, who went into seclusion right after his debut, the legend with an undefeated record. The next second, the entire stadium completely erupted. Damn, Lu Bu! Am I seeing things? Hasn't he been retired for many years? Why would he appear here? It must be a fake. How could a big shot like Lu Bu come to this small venue? No way. Even if there's only a 1 in 10,000 chance, I have to bet on it. My idol, Lu Bu. Quick, change my bet. The atmosphere in the entire stadium was instantly pushed to its peak. The referee and boxing king Liao had entered the ring. The entire ring immediately fell silent. Everyone held their breath, staring at the other fighter's entrance. A dozen seconds later, a man wearing a golden mask slowly walked out. His figure was slender, but his gaze was as sharp as a knife. Someone in the audience immediately recognized him and shouted, "It's him! It's the great Lu Bu!" The carved solid gold mask on his face is his biggest trademark. The entire stadium instantly boiled over. The betting pool shot up from hundreds of millions to tens of billions. However, in the VIP seats, Liu Ruyan was so angry her eyes were about to pop. Veins bulged on her forehead. It's Chen Fan again. Even though he was wearing a mask, she still recognized him as Chen Fan immediately. "Chen Fan, get down here for me!" Liu Ruyan screamed herself hoarse, pushing through the crowd and rushing towards the ring. This damn man, he was just injured a few hours ago. Now he dares to get in the ring and fight. Does he have a death wish? But the audience was too emotional. She couldn't squeeze through at all. Just then, the match bell rang. A figure like lightning, a fierce punch shot straight towards Liao's face. Liao immediately counterattacked. Punch aimed at my head. For a moment, Liu Ruyan's heart leaped into her throat, but the next second, I dodged it nimbly. Leaping into the air, I landed a heavy punch on his ribs. Liao let out a groan. He almost knelt to the ground. After that, the situation turned into my one-sided beatdown. Liao's eyes turned red from fighting. His moves became increasingly ruthless, but he couldn't even touch the hem of my clothes. In less than 10 minutes, I delivered a direct spinning kick, kicking the boxing champion Liao off the ring. He passed out on the spot. The entire stadium erupted in cheers like a tsunami. Everyone was chanting my name, Lu Bu. It really is the great god Lu Bu. In this lifetime, I actually got to see the big boss fight in the ring with my own eyes. Under the stage lights, I stood in the middle of the ring, becoming the sole god of the entire stadium. But Liu Ruyan, watching me on the big screen, felt a sharp pain in her heart. Why were my eyes so empty? Why were my fists always clenched? As if I were suppressing something, she suddenly realized something was wrong. Just then, the ring lights suddenly turned a romantic hue. A blonde, blue-eyed woman rushed onto the stage holding flowers. "Lu Bu, I love you. Let's get married. I watched every single one of your matches in Europe. As long as you agree to marry me, I can give you anything you want." The woman was still passionately confessing her love, wanting to give me all her assets. "Just marry me, I'll obey your every word." The sudden marriage proposal. Even I was stunned. Someone in the audience immediately recognized her. "This is the Swiss General Elsa." Liu Ruyan's gaze turned vicious. She wished she could poke a few holes in me. But before she could even rush up, a miserable scream echoed from the stage. I had punched Elsa, sending her sprawling to the ground. The entire stadium was shocked. "That's General Elsa. He's got some serious nerve. This could very well cause an international incident." However, an even more incredible move was coming. Elsa actually crawled back up and came before me on her own. To hit is to cherish. To scold is to love. "Mr. Liu, you're showing your love for me, aren't you?" The audience was dumbfounded. This general was actually that infatuated with me, but right at this moment, the entire boxing arena suddenly lost power. The scene became pitch black. It immediately descended into chaos. A few minutes later, the lights came back on. Elsa rushed backstage, but my figure was nowhere to be found. I had just stepped out of the bar when I saw Liu Ruyan leaning against my car. Why is she here? Could it be that the person in the audience earlier was really her? She's already recognized me. Liu Ruyan stared at me and raised her hand. "Come here." My gaze was as cold as ice. The frustration I had just vented rushed back into my heart, seeing me not move. Liu Ruyan strode directly towards me. That aggressive gaze immediately made me tense. "Liu Ruyan, what do you want?" "I should be the one asking you that." She grabbed my wrist tightly and said angrily, "Chen Fan, did you forget you're still injured?" Just now in the audience, her heart nearly jumped out of her chest. I sneered coldly. "If you hadn't mentioned it, I would have really forgotten." What an act! Liu Ruyan was so angry she gritted her teeth. A wave of anger was stuck in her chest. "Come home with me." She pulled me towards the car. "Let go of me. I struggled with all my might and agitated the wound on my shoulder. The pain made me gasp. Liu Ruyan immediately felt a pang of heartache. She loosened her grip, but she was afraid I'd run away, so she said coldly, "Chen Fan, don't forget your grandfather is still in my hands." A cold glint flashed in my eyes. I gritted my teeth. Damn woman, I really want to smash her head in. In the end, I could only reluctantly get in the car. In the car. Liu Ruyan occasionally glanced at me. Her eyes were full of scrutiny and curiosity. "Chen Fan, just how many identities do you have? You're the young master of the Chen family. You're also the boxing champion Lu Bu." I opened my eyes and gave a faint smile. "Take a guess." Liu Ruyan didn't ask any more questions. She just said, "You can tell me whenever you feel like it." By the time we got back to the villa, it was almost dawn. Bored, I turned on the TV. Unexpectedly, it was an interview with Chen Yu and Huo Xinyue. The reporter was asking with a gossipy expression, "Mr. Chen, Miss Huo, there's a rumor that after you two get married, your two companies will enter into a close partnership." I had just turned on the TV and already saw that wretched couple showing off their affection. The reporter even asked Huo Xinyue if marrying Chen Yu was just to fulfill the marriage contract, and if she was still in love with the deceased young master Chen Fan. As a result, Huo Xinyue frowned, her face full of disdain. She said she had always seen Chen Fan as a younger brother. The engagement at first was only due to pressure from the elders. She even pretended to say I was talented but ill-fated. Chen Yu next to her was even more dramatic. He lowered his head, saying how pitiful his cousin was. The next second, Huo Xinyue put on an affectionate expression, looking at Chen Yu. "The person I've loved from the beginning is Xiao Yu. What a deeply in love couple." I laughed coldly in anger. She's forgotten how she used to chase after me. I was thinking about how to deal with them, when a man's voice suddenly sounded from outside. "My name is Du Zitang. I'm a friend of Sister Liu." "Du Zitang, isn't that Chen Yu's cousin?" Right after, a man dressed in designer clothes. The man walked in. I recognized him with a single glance. He was the one I knocked out at the Chen family's house that night, and also the one who drugged Liu Ruyan. Du Zitang didn't recognize me. Seeing me, his expression immediately darkened. "Who is this?" The maid immediately stepped forward to introduce me. "This is Miss Liu Ruyan's husband." Du Zitang immediately sucked in a cold breath. "What? This is the rumored hidden husband, the incredibly ugly one." But he quickly calmed down, with a mocking expression. "That's not right. It's more correct to say, your sister Lia's ex-husband." Turns out, he heard the two had divorced. This time, he was full of confidence. His gaze towards me was filled with arrogance. "Sister Liu has already divorced you, and you're still shamelessly clinging to her." I pretended to be troubled inside. "Who said I'm clinging to her? It's obvious she's obsessed with me, sticking to me like a dogskin plaster." Du Zitang was so angry his voice became shrill. "Nonsense. Are you delusional?" I yawned. Too lazy to pay him any attention, I directly waved my hand. "So noisy. Have someone throw him out for me?" Unexpectedly, he dared to rush forward and block me. Pointing at my nose, he cursed. "You're just a pair of discarded, worn-out shoes. I am Sister Lia's future husband. I hate it most when people point their fingers at me." I immediately grabbed his wrist and twisted it hard. My hand with just a cracking sound. Du Zitang fell to the ground, clutching his hand. I let out a cold laugh. "You think you're worthy of being Liu Ruyan's husband? In your next life." I dusted off my hands and ordered the bodyguards to come in. "Throw him out." 2 days later, the wedding day of Huo Xinyue and Chen Yu finally arrived. One was my former fiancé, the other was my cousin. They were the real-life version of a prince and princess, a match made in heaven. How ridiculous. This wedding was organized to be incredibly grand and luxurious. The venue was at Jin Cheng's most high-end BU manor. Not only were all the prestigious families invited, they even organized a direct live stream. And today, I came precisely to crash the party. Online comments flooded the screen, more excited for the wedding to start than the groom himself. 11 a.m. The wedding ceremony officially began. The priest finished reading the vows. My good cousin Chen Yu stood straight at the door, looking at Huo Xinyue with a sweet smile. His eyes were filled with the satisfaction of getting his wish. He thought that by stealing my fiancé, he had already won. How naive. The two met in the middle of the red carpet and walked hand in hand to the priest. The priest asked solemnly, "Groom, Mr. Chen Yu, do you agree to take Miss Huo Xinyue as your wife, to love her forever, to be faithful to her?" Chen Yu looked at Huo Xinyue affectionately, just as he was about to open his mouth. At that exact moment, I forcefully pushed open the church doors. Everyone's eyes turned toward the door in unison. Who is that? Here to crash the party? Wait a minute, why does he look so familiar? I walked towards them step by step. It was only then that Chen Yu and Huo Xinyue finally saw my face clearly. Huo Xinyue's face instantly turned pale. She pointed at me with wide eyes, speechless. I curled my lips into a cold smile. "It's been 2 years, cousin. Don't you recognize me anymore?" Chen Yu looked as if he had been struck by lightning. He stared intently at me. "Chen Fan, you're still alive?" I smiled brightly. "Disappointed, are we?" Right after, I turned to all the guests. My voice wasn't loud, but it was enough for the whole hall to hear clearly. "Hello everyone, I am the direct grandson of the Chen family, Chen Fan. 2 years ago, I was assassinated. Now, I have returned." The sole heir of the Chen family is still alive. As soon as the words were spoken, my good second uncle, Chen Rende, stood up, his face pale, but his face wore a fake smile. Xiaofan, it's so good that you're not dead. Whatever it is, we can talk about it when we get home. He wanted to pull me, but I shook his hand off. Second uncle, some things can be discussed at home. The next second, my gaze slowly swept over Chen Yu and Huo Xinyue, but other matters must be settled right now. My good cousin Chen Yu immediately started to pretend, acting pitifully. Cousin, I'm sorry. We all thought you had passed away. Xinyue and I are truly in love. Please give us your blessing. Second uncle Chen Rende also hurriedly chimed in. Xiaofan, just give them your blessing. I looked at them coldly. A cold glint flashed in my eyes. I smirked. Everyone, don't misunderstand. I didn't come today to break up the lovebirds. Chen Yu's eyes lit up. The next second, I took out a jade bracelet and threw it directly to Huo Xinyue. This is the engagement token. I'm returning it to you. Our engagement is over from this moment on. Huo Xinyue caught the jade bracelet. Her expression was one of disbelief. She thought I would cling to her relentlessly. She didn't expect me to be so decisive. Chen Yu even smirked smugly, looking at me with a moved expression. Cousin, thank you. Second uncle also gave me a fake smile. Xiaofan. Second uncle knew you were the best. Hurry and have a seat.